to give you a brief introduction to this module on the weird question of, is business ethics an oxymoron? So an oxymoron is like something that doesn't seem like they should go together, like jumbo shrimp, or somebody says, that was awfully nice of you. So those things don't seem to really go together. And what about business ethics? So a lot of people sort of look at business as sort of a gray zone where it's like, well, your job is to make money, and you might have to do some things that are a little questionable, maybe things that are a little sketchy, but it's just business. It's not personal. It's just business. And so this module, we're going to look at some of those questions. We're going to start with an introduction, where you're going to do another flip grid, where you're going to talk about what you think about. Where do your ethics come from, and do your ethics change? Have they changed since you've been in college? And do you think there are any values that are universal, that apply to everybody all the time? And what are those values? Then you're going to have a chance to do some reading and watch some videos that are going to inform you. That's a section that's called learning about it. And then you'll have upon further reflection, which is a discussion essay that you will watch. And actually you get credit when you watch. I made a little video that goes over the rubric, so you can be really successful and answer that question like, what does he want? So you can watch the video about the rubric that you're going to use to be successful for the discussion essay. And you actually get points, 10 points, to just watch the video, because I really want to make sure you understand what I'm looking for in that essay. It's called the discussion essay. Make sure you watch the video about that. But I want to talk a little bit about a couple of concepts that come up in business that I think we ought to ponder. And I want to show you a few things here in just a moment. All right, so I really like this little background. I used it in my intro video of all these different things that come with business ethics, and the idea of morality and trust and reliability and some sort of organizing principles and organization and working together. There's a lot that's tied up in business ethics. And in this unit, we're going to be looking particularly at those differentiations between what's legal, what's moral, what's profitable, what's easy, all that sort of stuff. All right, so what we have here are the components in this module. There's the module overview, which you're watching at this very second, so you apparently found it. Then we have another one of those first impressions. This is a flip grid where you're going to look at a few questions that have to do with, where did you get your values? How have they changed since you've been in college? And do you feel there are any values that are universal, that apply to everybody everywhere, regardless of their religious tradition or their background? Are there any universal rules? So you're going to make a comment there on Flipgrid and then comment on 3 other students. Then you're going to move down to what I call the learn about this. Now in this, when you open that up, that document, there are links to several articles to read, several videos to watch. That this is where the content is. This is the material that you're going to use and think about in relationship to this particular question, is business ethics an oxymoron? And then your assignment for this unit is a discussion essay. Now, you'll notice that there's actually a video to watch, and you get credit for watching the video, which I explain and walk you through the rubric for the discussion essay. You know, always the professors are like, what does he want? So I put together a little video so you can definitely understand what it is that I want. And then you submit that essay, and then you reply to 2 other students' essays. So it's much like a discussion board, except you're going to lock that in and submit that essay first. And to help us start our thinking, I found this chart that was in a business ethics textbook, and it's sort of looking at social responsibilities of businesses and corporations. And first of all, there's at the lowest levels, like the legal side, like don't break the law. But the question is that all we really expect from businesses? And the next one is an economic responsibility. That is, the people that work for the company, the people that buy the product, there's an expectation that they're going to be looking out for what is best for the stakeholders from that corporation, not just stockholders, but stakeholders. And then the question is then, is there an ethical obligation to do the right thing, even if it's legal? And yes, you're doing the thing that makes the most money, but is it the right thing to do? And then the last question we have is, do corporations, businesses have an obligation to be philanthropic, to give back to society in some way? And one of the articles you're going to read answers that no, that a company's only moral obligation is to make money. We had a situation several years ago where there was a company here in the United States that was producing pajamas. They were using a chemical in the pajamas that makes it flame retardant in the event that a child was in a fire. But they found out that the chemical was carcinogenic. It causes cancer. So the United States Food and Drug Administration outlawed the use of that chemical because of its causing cancer. Well, this company now has millions of sets of pajamas that they can't sell. But you know what? Brazil doesn't have the same laws. So what the company did was they simply shipped all those pajamas to Brazil because it wasn't against the law. And it made economic sense. So if you think about the steps ladder there, the steps, it was legal to sell them in Brazil. It made financial sense to sell them in Brazil. The next question is it right? If you know that the chemical causes cancer, is it right to sell it to people somewhere else because their government doesn't have laws to protect them? All right, so these are the kind of things we're going to be talking about in this module. As always, please join me for my office hours, virtual office hours or in-person office hours. And please email me if you have questions. It's always better to ask those questions on the front end and not wait till after you receive a poor grade and then try to figure out what you can do to sort of raise your grade. So watch the video that outlines the rubric. That's really going to be helpful. And start early and email me or come by the office hours if you need some questions answered. And this is Dr. Shell sauntering on.